Hello YouTube. Back again. Let me start by saying this. The Russians and the Chinese are the same. They're not your friends. And those people that's out there defending the Russians, you need to stop that, because the Russians has been sworn enemies of America as far back as I can remember. I can remember back in the 60s doing the nuclear dance. You know that what that is, don't you? When you in your classroom and then everybody got to hide up under their desk, or they take you down in the basement of the school buildings, or you got fallout shelters all over your state. You know, so don't sit up there and think that Russia didn't do anything, or Russia's not doing anything to us, that Russia's our friend, because they're not. They're just not as open with it as the Chinese. Russia is always going to be America's enemy. Russia said it in the 60s when Khrushchev was up there pounding his shoe on the desk, saying that he's going to roll his tanks all over the American bodies out there. So don't be fooled. Just because this guy Putin is a little bit smoother than the old guard, he's still part of the old guard. Remember, he was KGB, so he's a little bit smarter and a little bit more educated than what they were back then. You know, so don't be fooled. Russia is not your friend. Don't sit up there and think they are. Okay, and you know what China is, and that's what this video is about. I always tell you that when you start following the money, you start getting into trouble. And I followed the money again on this China situation, because I wanted to find out what was really going on with China. You know, because right now I can't understand how come a country like ours is trillions of dollars in debt, and yet we can get $1 billion in aid to foreign countries. I mean, we can't even afford to give our people the money that they need, because we giving our money to everybody else. But that's a whole nother story. And then I was watching Alaska Prepper today, and he was mentioning the possibility of martial law being performed on the 6th. So I don't even know about that. I mean, if it happens, that's the wrong thing to do. The Constitution goes out the window, and it might never come back. All right. Okay, so anyway, let me get to this video. Like I said, this video is about, I was following the money, and I was trying to find out how come we owe China so much money and why China got so much influence here. And I found 72 companies that is owned by China. I mean, influential companies you wouldn't even expect. So I didn't have time to write them all down or go through the whole thing, because I don't really like to make videos that long. I mean, that would have been at least a half an hour, maybe 45-minute video. If I'm going to say something like that, I would do it live. But anyway, so these are some of the companies that China is owned by. I mean, it's owned by China, American companies, or have a vested interest in it. Let me put it that way. Number 1, General Electric. Since 2016, China has owned General Electric. They paid $5.4 billion for General Electric, and China make all the decisions. GE, you know that? And here's another one. AMC. If those of you don't know what AMC is the movies. You know. And China, they bought the majority stock from 2012 to 2018. They've been a majority stockholder, and they still making decisions about AMC, because you know Regal Cinemas went out of business. So now AMC is the major stockholder, and that's owned by the Chinese. Here go one that got me. Smithfield Foods. You know, I like their bacon. And Smithfield Food is owned by the Chinese. They paid, back in 2013, $4.72 billion for Smithfield Foods. Say that fast. And that's good. That just blew my mind. And another one that you didn't know is the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. In 2014, they paid $1.95 billion for that hotel. And that's not the only hotel that they own. They own a lot of hotels. I just only put that one down because that's one of the historical hotels in America. You know, the Waldorf Astoria. You know, you just see them in the old time movies. Here go another one. IBM. You know, their personal computer division. They bought that in 2005 for $1.25 billion. IBM. So people think that the Chinese are stupid. They got technology. Just don't forget they're the best drone makers in the world. Not us. China is. China makes the best drones in the world. Okay, here's another one that freaked me out. General Motors. You know, now China got a joint venture with General Motors since 1998. You know, it's not entirely owned by the Chinese, but they make a lot of the decisions about what goes on with General Motors. Ain't that crazy? American company. Okay, Microsoft is another one. 2016, they paid $350 million for Microsoft Corporation. Like I say, don't get confused by these computer things, because China got the technology. And this one made me laugh right here. The Hilton hotels. You know, since 2016, they bought the Hilton hotel. The whole Paris Hilton. I guess that's why we don't see her anymore. So they paid $6.5 billion for 25% stake of the hotel, so they could be the majority stakeholder in there. That's crazy. You know, that's just crazy. And this is a new one. I mean, like I said, it was like 72 that I seen. That I only put down 15 because I couldn't go anymore. It was just disturbing. Here go one. Uber Technologies Incorporated. In 2014, they paid $600 million for Uber Technology. So Uber is Chinese. Like I said, that's crazy. And this is a good one right here. Dairy Farmers of America Incorporated. Since 2014, they paid for that. They don't own the whole Dairy Farmers of America, but they got a big stake in influence in there. So that the dairy farmers in that is codependence on them, which is kind of strange. But this one really strange because this is affect me. See what I got on right here? See this hat? Check this out. Cleveland Cavaliers. Since 2019, China bought 15% of my basketball team here in Cleveland. I just had to throw that in there. Yeah, and I just want you to know that they also own SeaWorld since 2017. They didn't give a price of how much it cost them or how much they own in SeaWorld. They just had SeaWorld in there. Okay, here's another one. 21st Century Fox, which used to be 20th Century Fox. China owned 19% of that film company. 19%. That they paid $70 million for that. So now you know why all your films and stuff always have these crazy themes to it. So you never know what's going on with that. And here's another one. GNC. You remember that? The little vitamin company GNC? China bought that in 2018. About 40%. That's my grandson crying. Yeah, so don't worry about that. He don't want to go to sleep. That's my grandson. So GNC, they paid 40%. Or $300 million. They bought 40% of the GNC. That's crazy. And this is what I put down here because it might affect some of the people that's up east. Up in Boston Power Incorporated. They 90%. China owned 90% of Boston Power Incorporated. They built them off for $125 million, and they end up buying that company. So that's crazy. And then I was trying to follow the money of the Russian-owned companies, but I was getting stonewalled. They wouldn't give me hardly any information. But I said in one of my earlier videos that when you're about to go to war with a country, you always dump what you owe, or what they owe you. You sell it off, and they sold off most of their stuff to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia picked up all the American debt that they owed to Russia. So what we owe to Russia, we now owe to Saudi Arabia. And except they got the Face app. Now Russia still own that Face app. I never used it, but I seen people use it. That's when they can make your face look older, younger, or whatever they can do with it. That's a Face app, and Russia still own that. And like I said, it's just crazy. It's just crazy out here. And like I said, I was watching Alaska prepper before I decided to make this video, and I was reading some of the comments that people made about this martial law thing, and I always worry about martial law. Matter of fact, I even mentioned it in a few of my other videos, but I was thinking that we as Americans are smart enough not to sit up there and fall into that okie doke where we had to kill our own people. And it seems that it's gonna come to that point because we got crazy people out there. And I didn't want to mention anything that I don't know about, like that bombing that just happened over in Tennessee, which was crazy. I think it was in Nashville. They blew up the 5G building down there, and I just didn't want to mention anything that I didn't know about. So I'm gonna let you guys go. And like I said, Americans killing Americans, and I hated to see it come to that point because once the killing and shooting start, and it's gonna keep on. It's gonna be like a third world country. It's gonna be a lot of terrorism going on. All right, then. Thank you, YouTube.